nature has endowed the earth with glorious wonders and vast resources that man may use for his own ends. Regardless of our taste, our way of living, there are none that represent more variations to tax. Our ancestors and the children are really important regarding the soils. Actually, I wanted to say like that this session is about compost, and we're gonna have a wrap up by Stefan, and then we're gonna have like the discussion rounds. For some of you, it's already common, you know what you mean. I hope you had a very good session, and I welcome you to join again. And also, please make remarks. We have like almost half an hour, 45 minutes left, and afterwards we're gonna have a session too. But I will tell you more about that. It's really open. You can come, or you can't. I mean, depends on if you have time. So actually, first I want to give the mic to Stefan. Then we're gonna have a discussion round with the facilitators, and afterwards, there will be the closing remarks by Benjamin, and then we're gonna have like maybe after come together. So please, Stefan, come to the stage.
Thank you, Martin. And
hello, Stefan, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Like yesterday, you discussed some questions about this workshop and also about the Best for Soil project. Today it was, what did you learn from this workshop, and what did you know about the Best for Soil before this workshop? And when I passed in your sessions, I saw and heard again a lot of useful remarks from you and also suggestions. Thank you for your feedback. We will summarize now the most important points in each country, and we will start in alphabetic order with A, like Austria, with Markus.
Hello, Stefan. Hello, Martin. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Yeah, I got a lot of written feedback, especially in our chat. So yeah, I got the feedback that the workshop was very interesting. The people learned a lot. They didn't mention specifics about it, but first of hand, it was important to get to know the network, the modes of getting the information together and to share it on the other hand. And they also shared their experiences and where they learned from Best for Soil especially. So for them, for example, the newsletters, the direct contact, for example, at the Market Gardening Conference in Linz were important for getting to know about Best for Soil. Benjamin was also a very good multiplicator because of his word of mouth. And so the other people he talked to shared their experiences and talked about Best for Soil, and also about, for example, the initiative for regenerative agriculture in Austria. There they shared their experiences. So also, for example, multiplicators and institutions which tackle the topic of soil. These are the ones where the people got to know about Best for Soil, and mostly about the use of the Best for Soil tools. Most of them got to know about the Best for Soil tools in the recent 2 days. So this event, I think, was very important to teach the people how to use the Best for Soil tools and how to spread the word and where you can get the information from. But I think a very important topic is the personal contact and the word of mouth to get it out there and to learn from it. And on my behalf, I want to thank the team, the secretaries, the technicians, and all of you who work on Best for Soil for the also new experience for me. And I hope that we can spread the word and let the network grow for Best for Soil. So thanks from Austria.
Thank you, Markus. You did it very well the whole 2 days. So we go further to B, like Bulgarian, to Stoiko. Please, Stoiko, came up to the floor.
Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you, Martin. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. So we had the best session today compared with the 2 sessions from yesterday. We had maybe half of people we had yesterday, but the discussion was very active. People were more engaged in the discussion. Finally, we got also one of the vice directors of National Agricultural Advisory Service. So we discussed a lot the presentations, but also how to improve the visibility of all these actions, because from our experience, which we publish on our YouTube channels, the videos or some materials, but to reach maybe 100 people, it's quite difficult. So we discussed more about how to get together people who are interested in these topics, because there are some small groups of, for example, no-tillers who use also herbicides, etc. So it's maybe the right time to try to organize a common discussion platform or something like that, to exchange knowledge and to increase the number of people who are applying such practices. So it was very, very fruitful, and I think it was very, very good. And we've got also very good comments on the chat and wishes for the future. So I hope that we will try to make something and to invite people together, because we are really the thematic is there are a very small group of people who are really interested and less people who practice this. So it's very important to put them together and to increase the visibility of all these actions, especially here in Bulgaria. So thank you for the event. It was very useful.
Thank you, Stoiko. And then we go to C, next country, to Czech Republic and Slovakia. Jan, you are here. I give you the floor, please.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Jan.
Well, this session was a very pleasant one, because most of our feedback was positive feedback. So we got a lot of comments about the format of the workshop, which people really liked, especially making the workshop accessible in the local languages, where we can go deeper into the topics and then discuss the main outcomes on the international plenary meetings. So that was mentioned many times. We had mentioned also the already people who know they can use the outcomes of the projects to distribute between the farmers in their network. So that was also a good remark that we received. Some people mentioned that it would be nice if the bio in the contacts on Hopin would be filled by more people with their contact info, so it's easier to contact each other, since there is no other way how to exchange contact information between the attendees. We had some comments about including deeper knowledge about microbiology maybe next time. So that's an inspiration for the next conference maybe. But overall, we received very, very nice feedback, and I thank very much to all the audience from the Czech and Slovak room for their cooperation.
Thank you, Jan.
And thank you, Jan. I just wanted to interrupt very shortly. I just want to say that we're going to have at 12:35, 12:40ish, we're going to have like a meeting room, what we open, and then there is the chance for us all to connect, the facilitators, the presenters, the audience. So for everybody, it will be open, and I just want to state it here because maybe some followers want to, also the audience wants to know that we can connect afterwards. But thank you for the
amazing
remarks.
Martin. Thanks.
Welcome.
So next is Judith she managed the discussion in Hungary. Hello, Judith.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for the floor. We have a very lovely session. I think the topic of composting was very interesting for our audience. And for the evaluation part, we got some very good remarks. And I think the databases, especially the nematode databases, is a very, very useful tool, and it's very good to have something like that in Hungary. And we have a question about that, what would be the plan with those databases? Will they be developed during the project more or after the project, or is it a plan to have them available after the project? It was very much interested for our audience. The learning, what was the new thing learning about this project was that someone said that maybe what is important is not to have to being organic farming or not organic farming, but to pay attention to soils and to do regenerate farming, and regenerate soils is even more important. It was a great success, and I think it was a good idea from Benjamin to have an interview presentation. Our audience liked it very much, and it is very good information and a good way of presenting information. So maybe we can keep on that. And what was the big finding of this workshop? That there is a lot of valuable, extremely valuable information around in Europe, but the barrier, the language is a big barrier, and I think it was a good step to somehow getting across to this barrier. I think Mr. Harmandiev's presentation was a very good example on that. For organizing next steps or next workshops, people want to have more detailed information, not just the basic stuff, but more detailed information on technology or practical tips and the techniques that farmers can apply directly in their farm would be very useful. So I think that was all about this section. We liked it very much, and the Best for Soil project and the way of communication and our efforts were appreciated. So it was a good success, I think, and I think we got kind of a lot of ideas how to move forward for the rest of the time of this project. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Judith. Also, Emese for the secretary to Hungary. Now, the last country is Serbia with Brankica. Hello, Brankica.
Hello, I'm coming.
Hello.
So last, let's say, a report from Serbia for today about our platform. I will single out some of the most important remarks about our workshop, about our website, about our project. One of the most interesting question was what will happen when this project comes to its end? What will happen with this data and with these tools? And also people are interested in additional workshops in the future. They understand that this is the first one that we are going to make more, and they especially stress that they are interested in composting, but not only on farms, but also in cities, especially composting material as garbage from cities. Also, there is interest to make a community of practice in composting and to use information we got from our workshop and also from our website. For the website, they have only nice comments. They are excited with the idea. They said that they learned a lot, and they see possibility for implementation of all these measures they learned, and also that they learned many things, and hope that all these things that are not used in Serbia will be used in the future. Some of them will definitely use new methods on their small farms, but they think that we should include also Ministry of Agriculture in all those things to make it feasible to widely use. So that is more or less everything they said about our platform. They are delighted that something like this exists. They would like it to be even with more practical details, and they suggested to stay in contact so that we can improve our tools and all these measures together with Best for Soil scientific team. So at the end, I would like to thank the team who did workshop, whole Best for Soil team, also my wonderful secretary, Dragana Budakov, who did wonderful job. And thank you guys a lot for moderating this.
Thank you, Brankica. Thank you to Serbia.
Thank you, Brankica.
So now the workshop is already finished, and that's why I would like to thank you also, the participants, especially for the useful information, and a great thanks also to the moderators, secretaries, and the whole organization staff for this good cooperation. And the last information from my side, in 2021, we will start the final survey about the whole Best for Soil project. So if you get a link with an online survey from the Best for Soil next spring or summer, we invite you to take some minutes to give us your feedbacks over the whole project Best for Soil. So thank you, and Martin, it's yours.
Thank you, Stefan, for the evaluation round. That was really, really promising. And now we're gonna come to the discussion, the evaluation of the videos and discussion of the videos with our facilitators and our presenters and with you, dear audience. So please, again, if you have any question or remark, please just post it on the right side in the chat. Don't hesitate to ask anything or give us feedback. We will answer it and try to involve it as well or answer it later. So first, Markus from Fibel Austria, please come up to the stage. I want to ask you.
Hello, Martin.
Hi, Markus
again.
there. I want to ask you.
Hi.
Hi. I want to ask you, how has the last session been?
Yeah.
Any feedback, any questions, any final remarks
Yes,
about the session?
Yeah, the final session has been very good. It was very lively. We also had especially two guys from the audience who also joined with audio and video and told us from their experiences. So thank you guys again. Those who I speak to know who it is. And yeah, regarding the videos, I wanna call out the first questions from the video 3 actually, because if it would be nice if maybe Philip Hamandiev could join us afterwards, because in our session from his video there were the most unanswered questions, because they were regarding his farm, for examples. How many workers he needs and how many people per animal he does account for his farm, or for examples, if in his opinion a holistic pasture management can be combined with organic certification. Maybe he does have experience with that. And some guys would also be interested to know about how his company deals with bird flu or swine flu. So in case of diseases. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Then I would say like we just gonna invite Philip to the stage. He can come up and maybe answer at least 2 or 3 questions. Maybe we pick up the most important. Maybe.
Hi.
Hello, Philip.
Hi, Philip. Thank you for joining. Hi. There are some questions. Maybe you wanna raise the most important or some questions which are easy to answer now.
I'll start from the last one about the bird flu and the swine, African swine fever. Had I had them, I would have been closed. So, so far, no. I think that it depends on the context. So, for example, with the swine, with the African swine fever, I immediately stopped feeding the pigs with corn because it's like the COVID. You don't have good enough explanation how is the disease transferred. Their hypothesis, and actually my hypothesis was that the vector is the corn. So basically, the wild pig that is contagious dies in the cornfield. The combine takes the pieces of the body of the pig, and then this small piece enters the farm, and then the stupid policy, that is the stamping out policy. If you have one pig, they kill the whole herd. So basically, you don't have any chance of making a small mistake. So basically, so I stopped the corn simply because this was for me the vector that is not discussed at all. Of course, I have the fences, then I have the electro fence, so you don't have wild pigs to come to your pigs. Then the bird flu, I think the pastured animals have very good immunity, and they're much better in terms of condition. So basically, this is the reason that I'm spared from the bird flu. Just to open a small bracket, I think that the biosecurity requirements are a myth that is pushing us into an industrial direction. It's what I call the concentration camps for animals are designed by the biosecurity myth. And that's an unfortunate state. So that's a very, very big topic, and I'm not going to continue further, but this is something that I'm thinking a lot. Then the previous questions, Marcus, I have a full cycle. So I have a dairy, I have a meat production, I have a kitchen that does broth and other things like pâtés, like raw sausages, etc., etc. So my concept is that I have to connect with the consumer. It's not that I finish at some point and then I rely on the retailers, on the distributors, etc., because that's where the value is. So basically, you have to connect with the consumer in order to have loyalty from the customer base, in order to justify the higher prices you put on the market. So it's sorry.
Oh no, it's fine. You wanna continue? Yeah.
Then coming back to how many people, etc., these are questions regarding my business model. But my business model is based on in a place where the average salary is like 500 euros. So how many people I have depends on the salaries, etc., etc. On the other hand, here what I can do, one job is done usually by twice as much people as they're done in the States, for example, simply because we have this is the mentality here. So what I would, how would I promote this model is by urging my colleagues, my fellow farmers, to try to connect with the consumer, and then you can adjust your prices to your costs, and you can have as many people as you can, as you need, simply because the consumer is going to pay you. The retailer is not going to pay you.
Okay, Philip, thank you very much, and Markus, thank you very much. I have to stop it at this.
Maybe one remark which would be interesting afterwards from guys from the Czech Republic and Slovakian area. Maybe they could answer the questions if they specify for example, their parameters for the composting, more, for example, the CN ratio, the moistures, the pH, and the processing steps. Maybe they can get back to that question. That would be nice. And thanks, okay. Alfred, yes. in this occasion for helping out. He answered a lot of questions from the second video already. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Markus. Okay, the next one, I'm going to invite Stoico from Bioselena from Bulgaria, and maybe Philip. If you're still here, there are two questions by MS, and maybe you can answer them in the chat, or we're going to answer it later and pass it to you. But maybe, actually I wanted to, that was maybe my mistake. Philip, I want to say, like, if you have time, maybe you can answer it via the chat, if it's possible. But otherwise, we're gonna give the questions to you and come back to you with the answers, MS. I have to go on, proceed, because we still have 4 facilitators. So Stoico from Bioselena, please come up. He's from Bulgaria. Stoico, it's the next one. Yeah, if Stoico is not available, then I'm gonna give the mic to Jan from Bio Institute. He's on behalf of the Czech and Slovakian session. Please, Jan, come up to the stage and give us our feedback. Hello, Jan.
Yes, so also for us, very lively discussions. We took advantage of having the Czech experts from the first morning presentation present during the whole session. So they've been a big help, and they answered a lot of tough questions being directed to them. So I would say that the answers for the first presentation, for the questions for the first presentation, were already answered during the session. But we had also quite some questions for Alfred and for Philip. So if one of them could join us for a while, would be very nice.
Yes, definitely. So, gonna ask Alfred. Hello, he's on the stage.
Hello, hello, Alfred.
Hello.
So we had some question regarding the vermicompost, and maybe if you could sum up shortly what are the main qualitative differences between the normal thermophilic compost and the vermicompost. And regarding the vermicompost, one additional question. If there are any limits in organic farming regarding the application of vermicompost.
Okay, so let's start with the second question. There are no limitations using vermicompost. It's allowed for use in organic agriculture within Europe, except if you produce it from sewage sludge, for example. So the resources have to be approved for using composting for an organic approved compost. And the second thing in regards to the amount that has to be used is depends on the nitrate application rate. So if you are, for example, in Austria, you're allowed to put 210 kilogram of nitrate in, and then it depends on what the volume or what the ratio of nitrogen is in your vermicompost. If you compare thermophilic compost to vermicompost, there are some differences. Vermicompost usually is a better process, so it's more like earth. It feels more like earth, not so much like compost. You can bag it without any problem, and it won't continue to process to compost even further. It's in average higher in nutrient because the decomposition process is more established. Then it has normally it has a higher biodiversity rate. So because with thermophilic composting, with the high temperatures, you kill a lot of mesophil microbes, so microbes that cannot stand at high temperatures, and also other animals like ants or earthworms and all the other critters that are active in the soil. With vermicomposting, you don't do that. Then another difference is if you have wheat seeds in your input material, then vermicompost wouldn't allow to kill it because there is no temperature increase. So there's a homogenization effect. And another difference is that, and then I will end there, is that in vermicompost you usually have higher rates of phytohormones. These are hormones, these are substances that can be detected by the plant roots and that promote, for example, root growth, germination, things like that. So these substances are like auxin, gibberellin, cytokinine, for example.
Thank you, Alfred. Maybe do we have space for one more question we had for Alfred?
One more question, maybe. Yes, one more question.
So we had
and then
one more interesting question
yes.
for Alfred. The question was about the killer compost you have mentioned in your presentation, and if you have any experience with the persistence of the herbicides in the compost, and specifically mentioned was the herbicide clopyralid. So if you have anything to say to this topic.
Fortunately, I don't have experience with that material because we are an organic farm, so we don't use any herbicides. But it's even listed on the declaration of some agents like clopyralid, as you mentioned, and that's the main problematic agent. It's even listed on the declaration of the pesticide can. You can read that it's not allowed if you, for example, apply that on your pasture against thistle, for example, and then you cut the hay, you feed it to your cows. You cannot take the manure and bring it to certain crops, so spread it as a manure to certain crops, because otherwise the cash crops will be killed. That's also true for composting. So even if you feed that hay to your cows, and the manure will be composted, then still the compost will kill your tomatoes, for example. So that's really a persistent material. Most agents, we have to say, are decomposed and are destroyed during the thermophilic and during the composition, also in vermicomposting. But there are some agents like clopyralid which end up still being active and will definitely kill your cash crop. So you have to.
Thank you very much, Alfred.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. So I have to head on. Thank you, guys. And next is Stoico. Now he's back in the room. Maybe had some walk outside. The sun is coming out, at least here. So Stoico from Bulgaria.
Again?
Welcome back. So please, a short wrap up and
so we had a very good discussion
and,
because this time we have also the chance to have one of the presenter in our group. native Bulgarian speakers. So there were a lot of questions, an interesting discussion. We received some feedback we had also some very good experts in Compost. And one of the questions was about this European system of evaluation of the compost. So in the presentation, we saw that they evaluate mainly the stability, the nutrient content, etc., etc. But the remark was why they do not evaluate also the microbiological content of the compost, which is very important according to our participants. So maybe it's part of the system, but it was not presented today, or there is another system of evaluation of the microbiological content of the compost. And we have also some questions to Alfred. For example, how he's preparing the compost tea, because we heard a lot of times in the presentations from Austrian people, compost tea. Do you add something after extracting with water, or do you feed the bacteria inside, or it's just you take the water?
Well, there is, with compost tea production, we developed a system that we evaluated together with the University of Life Science in Vienna. So we tried that in an Interact project for 3 years, and it was quite a successful project. We developed the compost tea brewer, and the compost tea brewer is a tank, 100-liter tank, and the bottom of the 100-liter tank is a membrane. So it pumps, you pump air through that membrane, and so the oxygen or the air can be dissolved in the water, and it can raise up. And what you can do then is you throw your compost in, let's say 5 liters of compost substrate and 100 liters of water, and then you blow in air for 24 hours. And so the compost is always mixed, so it cannot settle down, it cannot create anaerobe zones. So it's always mixed and provided with oxygen, and that helps to multiply the microbes. So what you really want to do is you wash out the microbes from the compost, the bacteria, the fungi, and you multiply them. So you add some food for the microbes, and then within 24 hours, so within 1 day, you multiply these microbes, then you stop the blower, the compost can settle down, you pour the compost tea out, and you have to immediately have to use it.
You have to spray. Okay, thank you. And a funny question, in our part of Europe, we call the earthworms for the production of vermicompost, we call them red Californian worms. Are they come from California, or
no?
Do you have an explanation?
It's a good,
very short answer.
Good question.
The short answer, please.
The Latin, the species name is Arsenia foetida and Arsenia andrei. They are native in Europe, in the southern regions of Europe, and also in Austria, meanwhile. And the reason why they are called Californian earthworms, because the people who traveled to the USA or to North America, let's call it North America, which traveled to North America, they took the earthworms with them in some flower pots or soil, and then they started breeding them. So it was a success over there in North America, and then they brought these earthworms back, and then therefore they call it Californian red worms, Tennessee wiggler. There are a lot of different synonyms for these worms, but still, they are native European earthworms. They are not native to North America, but they are native to Europe. And we call them in Austria, for example, rotwurm or mistwurm or compostwurm. But these are just synonyms. The Latin name is Arsenia foetida and Arsenia andrei.
Oh,
thank you.
Oh. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah,
Alfred, will you be around
not too long,
afterwards?
But,
Okay. Then I invite people who have still questions, maybe to meet with you in the meeting room where we're all going to meet afterwards and have some drinks and some snacks, virtual. You can print it out via 3D. Afterwards, we're going to have the forms. So thank you, Alfred and Stoico.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Alfred. Thank you. So we have to continue because we are running out of time almost. So Judith is the next one from Hungary.
Hi. Thank you very much for the floor.
Maybe you can wrap up very shortly. And the other thing is, like, maybe you have also questions to Katusha as well.
We have lots of questions for all the presenters, so I can choose. Maybe they will be busy after the workshop to answer all the questions later. But we had the composting is a very interesting topic in Hungary, so we had a good discussion. We have some people who was expert on it, so we could exchange some views on composting, and so enjoy that. And I think we should organize some more workshops in more detail because it has a big interest in it. And so
definitely, yes. Maybe you can pick
yes,
up
yes,
some questions for Katusha if you have. Yes,
one of the questions is that is interested our audience was that she said that they use sewage sludge as ingredients for their compost, and we know that there are some risk in sewage sludge. So do they examine the pollution control, the pollutants? Do they what parameters do they check? And when in the ingredients or the compost ready. So, and how they handle the risk of the sewage sludge overall.
So yes, I'm gonna ask Katusha maybe up to the stage to come up and answer the open questions. Otherwise, Judith, you can continue with your impressions and some marks which are on your mind where you think like you have to tell us definitely. Yes.
Then I'd rather try to ask some questions, if I may, because it was rather a remark that our composting expert asked Mr. Harmandiev that he uses effective microorganisms, I think EM1, and she said that why does he use his own compost, because he's composting the deep litter for the animals and make a compost tea, I think, out of that and use it for spraying the bedding. I think this was one of the interesting questions. And the
yes.
If
maybe we're gonna invite Philip. Yes, you can continue. Sorry, I'm just invite Philip to come up. Oh, we have perfect. Hi, Katusha. Sorry to interrupt you. That it was a little bit tricky to get everybody here. Sorry, Judith. So maybe we're gonna continue to. Is it okay, Judith? You wanna
one more
finish, or
if I may say? That Alfred Grant's experiments were very interesting for us. So, is there any written materials that they can share, or a scientific article, or just an article to the Farmers Magazine, or somewhere when we can read more details on his experiment, especially the test for germination of seeds using with the compost or compost tea would be very interesting for us if there is something material available.
Maybe thank you for showing up, Jan and Katusha. It's really important that we have like really short answers, and that we gonna have like maybe longer answers later on in the meeting room, for example.
I will just quickly translate the question to Czech.
Jan.
Takže otázka byla na využívání odpadů pro kompostování a jaká jsou s tím spojená rizika, jak je kontrolujete. Obecně v podstatě využívání odpadních materiálů pro výrobu kompostu. Rizika a kontrola spojená.
Takže, jak už jsem říkala, v České republice se kompostují především odpady biologického charakteru typu rostlinných zbytků z údržby zeleně a zahrad občanů. Tady běží kontrola toho procesu pro využití kompostu. Pokud se kompost použije v zemědělství, tak tady probíhá kontrola jak technologie, procesu technologie, tak kvality výstupu.
Jenom přeložím. So regarding the sewage sludge, it always has to be a biological sourced material, and if it's meant to be used in agriculture, it has the whole process of the production and application have to be certified by the state body.
Pokud kompost nesplní parametry organického hnojiva, to znamená nejvyšší kvality, tak nesmí být použit na zemědělskou půdu a je využíván do veřejné zeleně, na sportoviště a ta nejvyšší kvalita v podstatě se ukládá jako stabilní odpad na skládku.
And if these requirements are not met, meaning the highest requirement of the quality, it cannot be used in the agriculture and has to be used for different purposes.
Pokud do kompostárny vstupují odpady typu kalus, čistíren odpadních vod, tak se zvyšuje monitoring toho procesu, to znamená toho procesu hygienizace a kvality kompostu, kde se sledují jak ta nebezpečnost mikrobiální, tak i rizikové prvky těžké kovy.
Já jenom přeložím a budeme muset končit, zbytek odpovědi bude potom textově. So, and especially the sewage sludge is more strictly tested for the dangerous materials and the microbiological pathogens. So this question would require a much longer answer, but we will reply in a text form afterwards.
That would be perfect. Thank you, Jan. Thank you, Jan, and thank you, Katusha, for being here and answering. And thank you, Judith, for bringing up. I have to go on to Brankica now. She's the last one from Serbia, from Institute of Pesticides and Environmental Protection. So I have to guarantee that Brankica has enough time as well, like to wrap up the session and to raise some questions. Maybe especially like
thank you very much
to Philip.
For giving me also a chance to discuss with our speakers. On Serbian stage, there was a much better discussion today than tomorrow. They were especially interested in composting, in many aspects of that. For example, the question for Kvetusha was how is compost market developed in Czech Republic, and how much is the cost of compost there, and also how long it takes when you start from zero to cost-effective production. And also, if we don't have time to hear the answer right now, I hope it will be in our document. And also, we had a lot of questions for Philip. Short ones, for example, how he does milking, because cows are in the field, how they survive winter, what he does for their food, also how he controls parasites of animals like mosquitoes, and many more questions about his presentation. So if Philip can answer some of them, I would be grateful.
We all will be grateful, definitely. Thank you to have you back here, Philip. And yeah, maybe you can answer the questions where you feel comfortable
how
with.
I milk.
Yes.
Yes.
I milk with a mobile milking bale. I send you a YouTube video how we milk, and this is very crucial. It's a nice question, and I think even nicer answer. About the mosquitoes, we use some, I don't know how it's the term, but we spray the animals with what you're supposed to spray against the external bugs. Otherwise, for internal parasites, the moving of the animals before the cycle of the internal parasites, which is 21 days, usually solves the problem. So and that's why the longest stay of an animal on one and the same parcel, what we call paddock, is less than 18 days. Because otherwise the internal parasites develop a mature form and goes back to the host. Also, I'm always integrating hens, birds, with the cows, so that they always work on the patties, on the cakes of shit, so that to clean the maggots in the shit. What was the other question?
Food in winter, and also water problem.
During the winter they come to the barn, and that's where we work with the deep bedding, and the food during the winter is hay. Otherwise, we don't produce. We stop producing the pastured broilers. So basically, I shrink the farm only to the lactating cows and the hens. I don't have broilers. The broilers I start raising from February. In the brooders, then April we go on the field, and November is the last period when we have broilers.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
There are also some more
Thank
questions,
you very
but
much,
I guess that we don't have time right now, so they will be answered and included in our proceedings book, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely. They will be answered, and we collect them, and yeah, we will get back to everybody. There were so many questions in this session, and we try to get back.
Our
and
participants
we will do that
also
definitely.
would be delighted if presenters will give their opinion about comments where it makes sense, because there are some comments for which answer actually is needed. Thank you very much.
Yes, definitely. Looking forward for that. Thank you very much, Brankica, and get well soon. Yes. Thank you for having you here. Thank you. Bye. And now we are almost at the end. We have a couple of minutes left, and but you can still stay afterwards, because we're going to meet, and I'm going to tell you after we have the final remarks by Benjamin, organizer, one of the organizers of the event, and Benjamin will have the closing words for us. And
I'm fine.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Nice to have you here, Benjamin. Hi, how are you doing? Perfect. Perfect.
Thank you.
So I give
Hello,
you
everybody.
The word, and the floor is yours.
I'm Benjamin Waldner. I work at the Research Institute of Organic Agriculture, FIBL. I'm the organizer of this workshop. I never had so many guests in my home. So welcome, and thank you for being here. A lot of people made this workshop possible. And so I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to the presenters that come from 4 different countries. And I want to thank you for their inspiring presentations. I'd like to say thank you to the facilitators and the secretaries that moderated your country sessions and took care that your statements, opinions, and questions are recorded. A big thank you goes to the moderator and my colleague at FIBL, Martin. Thanks, Martin. You did a great job of guiding us through this workshop. A big thanks goes also to the team from Günther Weinlinger, who took care of the technical infrastructure in the background. Thanks to Johannes Pelleter, who did a great job in communicating and promoting this workshop. Thanks to all the wonderful members of the project Best for Soil who contributed with their expertise and their hard work to good products that all of us can use, free of charge. Finally, thanks to you. Thanks for being here with us. Thanks for your questions and remarks. We, and when I say we, I mean the agricultural sector and of course, especially farmers. You're the backbone of society. Our job is to bring healthy food to the tables of the world. Food that is healthy for ourselves, those who eat it, and also healthy for all of those involved in production, including the soil and its inhabitants. The way how we do this work makes all the difference and has a huge impact on everything around us. At the smallest level, when we think of soil life or our plants on the field, for example. At the mid-level, when we think of our families, the people next to us. And also on big level, when we think in global agriculture and everything that comes with it. Our decisions, the decisions on your farm, have an impact not only in your personal life, but also serves as an inspiration for all that observe and see your work. I wish you a lot of enthusiasm to try out some of the inspiring ideas, maybe all of them even, at home on your farm if you're a farmer, in your advisory work when you're an agricultural advisor, and as well when you're an agricultural scientist, a student, or when you work in a company in the sector. That maybe some of the solutions and ideas proposed here in our workshop might serve you as an example or inspiration for your important work. I wish everybody of you all the best. Thank you very much and goodbye.
So Benjamin, thank you very much for the closing words, and it was really inspiring, really nice to hear. And finally, I want to say also thank you to all the people who made this possible, and to the organizers, to the audience, to the facilitators, to everyone and the presenters, last but not least. So have a really nice day, and please stay in touch and we can connect. Let's get this soil network together and build some really strong roots. So just really strong roots can enhance healthy food as well. So Mahatma Gandhi once said, to forget how to dig the earth and to tend the soil is to forget ourselves. So I would say let's share our knowledge and connect. So I'm going to see you in the group room, in the meeting room. There's going to be a meeting room where we can have still discuss and can get a tea, and there will be no moderation or anything, just also the option to connect. And if you have any question, please just don't hesitate, come back or still put it in the chat. So thank you very much and have a wonderful day.